GMGP, good morning, good people. Y'all could have been anywhere in the world, but y'all decided to wake up with us. You're sick. You're sick in the head. There's a lot of fantasy football shows out there, but I promise y'all, they not like us. Brock Bowers, you looked a little quicker than fast. What does that even mean? Redraft, dynasty, best ball, high stakes, we got you covered.
And that's MVS and Justin Watson.
With some of the dopest tools designed to help you cancel out the noise and dominate your leagues.
If there's a white wide receiver named Antoine, sign me up.
Maybe it's cultural. I don't know. In season or off season, rain, sleet, hail, and snow,
Comma, semicolon, period, next sentence.
to bring you the most actionable and entertaining content on YouTube. You don't go buy the dip on the Titanic.
Quarterback that you love, D-Bro. One of the best values in fantasy football.
Prop bets with my man JRich.
Yes! Let's go!
So wipe the crust out of your eye, get you a cup of coffee. It's time to wake y'all asses up with Ray
And Jay.
in the morning.
My God.
How good is
Dude.
he? How good is Let's get it. GMGP. It is Wednesday, June 11th, 2025. The people are in the building. The Wake Up crew is in the chat. And y'all have pulled up and tapped in for Wake Up with Ray and Jay. We appreciate each and every eye, each and every ear in the building. And I see y'all talking shit early this morning right here. Ray, since you're in Texas, go and get that solar so we can start on time, JRich. They say we need that solar-powered energy down here in Dallas, Texas. Appreciate y'all bearing with us. Some weather issues down here. We got some storms rolling through last night and today, so apologies for that. But we in the building, baby. No show on Monday. We back. Richard, hello from Panama. JRich, what time is it in Panama? $50 if you could tell me what time it is in Panama right now. Do you know?
I'm going to say in Panama, it's probably 3 hours behind. I'll say it's 3 hours behind.
Okay. 3 hours behind.
Might be wrong
3
there.
hours behind Eastern Standard Time. I don't have a clue. Tyler Trout, hope y'all blessed. Hope you blessed too, big dog. Johnny, what's going down with you? All City. Buckeye DK in the building. I know he's hurting. That Rodgers got 13, 14 million is Will Howard. Will Howard hopes going down the drain for Buckeye DK. Shout out to my dog Buckeye Fredo in the building. Adam Zaff in the building. Garrison, Luke, DT. We got the crew in the building. Jimbo, where you at? Jimbo found the damn join button, the YouTube members only channel. Thank goodness. JRich, how you doing this morning, my friend?
I'm good, man. I'm good. I had a good weekend. I had a good
solo
couple
you.
of days.
A solo
You were sick. You were out. And
Yes,
Ray,
I was.
I got to give you some credit, man. I got to give you some credit. You gave me some very good advice the other
What was
day,
that?
and I appreciate it.
What
You
was that?
forgot. Even better. Even better.
What advice did I give you?
Remember
I haven't a
asked you-
clue.
Remember I asked you about your parenting style. Do you recall this? Remember I asked you about your parenting style and how do you let your kids fail?
yeah,
or do you let
yeah,
them make
yeah.
their mistakes, right?
Yeah, let them make mistakes.
Right?
Okay.
And I was telling you how I was trying to help my brother buy a house. And I can confirm that he got an accepted offer yesterday. So I made the use of those 2 days we
There
were
we go.
off, and we're good to go. We're good to go. All that is
There you
closed out.
go. Congratulations.
Thank you.
I love to
Thank you.
hear milestones from my friends, from my family. So if y'all in the Wake Up chat, if something good happened to y'all over the weekend, I mean this shit sincerely. Something good happened. You got a promotion, you got married, you got divorced. Something good happened to you over the weekend. Let us know in the chat. I want to call that out. And I am going to shout out two of probably the most loyal supporters of this show. My boys, my children, watch this show, JRich. So make sure you watch your damn mouth because they watched this show over the past weekend. Both of my boys, I'm not going to show their pictures. I heard you're not supposed to do that anymore, like show kids pictures on the internet. Not that we're famous or anything. I don't really care, but they just say don't
One
do
day,
it.
right? One day.
Yeah, I know, one day. But both of them competed in our little league tournaments here for their baseball seasons. You know, they play travel ball. Both of them took home the hardware, JRich.
Yes,
We
sir.
got league champ. What was this one? This is the 8U one, tournament
Yep.
champ for my oldest. There's the 6U league champs right there. We took home the freaking hardware this weekend, JRich. So it was a
Huge.
lot of goddamn baseball this weekend. And we got freaking All-Stars this weekend, so it's going to be a lot of baseball. But shout out to the Pooh. That's my young one. And the Drew, that's the old one. Both of them. Baseball league champions, JRich. This is what it's all about.
Yes, sir.
Rec league, little kid MLB.
Titles.
It's we'll die for this shit out here, man. We're going all day. 11 innings of baseball on Sunday. Unreal.
Oh my
Unreal,
god.
JRich. But let's get to it, man. There's a topic that has been flowing around the football space, the fantasy football space, that has pissed a lot of people off. But you and I, we've been doing this streaming thing for quite a while now. We're well versed in the internet's kind of movement of the space, content creation. That's what we do. That's who we are. I
Yeah.
want your thoughts on this because we have not talked about it. And I would love for the people in the chat for their thoughts on this as well. Okay. This would be great to hear from the people. And I'm going to pull up this tweet real quick because this is kind of what popped everything off. I think it was yesterday, JRich, that there have been some layoffs in the fantasy football space, right? And Yahoo Fantasy, shout out to Yahoo, their fantasy sports page, why Jameson Williams is no longer a boom or bust fantasy option in 2025. And in circles, it said, it's circled and highlighted, it said, this article was written with the assistance of Cast Magic, an AI tool, and reviewed by our editorial team to ensure accuracy. Please reach out to us if you notice any mistakes. This comes on the heel of Yahoo laying off some very popular sports writers, some very popular fantasy football sports writers, and replacing them with artificial intelligence to provide you fantasy football content. JRich, what are your thoughts on this? I don't want to talk about people's job statuses and who needs to have a job and who doesn't. I think both Andy and Dalton are incredible fantasy writers. But what are your thoughts about this in the future of AI in sports betting, regular NFL, NBA, MLB, fantasy sports, and them sort of replacing or trying to replace what we do as humans, which is right?
Yeah, I think the problem is there has definitely been a loss at least of creative writing, right? Like what we're talking about is the difference between getting the information and delivering it in a different way that's more digestible, that has personality, that, interweaves different writing styles and brings that person out of the piece, and you're removing that, right? And I'll be honest, I don't read stuff enough to where I'm reading someone's column every single week in the newspaper or in a magazine or online or anywhere. And I'd be curious what percentage of people even do that consistently read someone's work because they wrote it, right? It's just very different. People tune in and they watch our show because they like us, right? And even when we started, making content years ago, that was when I told you, like, yo, this is going to change very quickly. Like, we were writing for, $5 here, $10 there, but like that was never going to be the path because people had already had established writing gigs. I think it's interesting that they decided to do this because, again, they're two major faces of their brand. And it's like, do you really feel like they're not bringing in their brand value to where you want to get rid of them and replace them with AI writers and stuff? It's very strange, but I can't say I didn't see it coming because fantasy is much different. Like, people don't really care about how you get to the result. They just care about what that result is. If it's Jameson Williams being a
That's
buy
what
low,
I thought, Jay.
or what the rankings are, like that's what they care about, at least in the fantasy space. In other worlds, in other realms, they may care about that creative writing, but I feel like in our space, it's the brass tacks. It's what do I need to know? And if AI can do that, then unfortunately for some people who maybe have writing jobs now or aspiring to have writing jobs, it's not a good spot.
Well, I think it's bigger than just the fantasy space, right? I use it every day for emails. I can't remember the last time I've crafted a full damn email on my own, right? I kind of give it the prompts, and I'm thinking through this from both sides. If you hired a good prompter, right? Because the reality is Drake London's stats on Sunday, those were his stats. Whether I tell them to you, you tell
Or
them
AI.
to you, or AI. Drake London went 5 for 77 and 2 touchdowns. He's caught X number of passes over his last 5 games. I think it's unfortunate because I just think as technological advances happen in life, it replicates some of the things that people do. Look at cab drivers, right? Uber drivers, you got damn self-driving cars that can get you from A to B. That nobody is getting, somebody's getting paid, but not the actual driver themselves. I think people in the fantasy space bitch and complain a lot about a lot of things. And if you just withstand, then it will just become customary. I don't think that this is changing Apple just announced a whole bunch of AI stuff in their phones and
Yep.
like it's not changing, right? It's not going away. Artificial intelligence is not going to die off next season. It's not a fad. It's here to stay. It's unfortunate that it is, taking away some of the things that we like. And somebody in the chat said, "Am I going to get a JRich bot to replace you?" Hell, maybe one day. Maybe one day we can just get the audio of JRich. But no, I think that's a little different. The written portion of it, um, I don't know. I business standpoint, I get it. Like I understand what's happening, and I just don't think that this is. Think about now. I can go to the doctor without leaving my house, right? I can pick up my phone, call Teladoc. They can send me a prescription in to my
Yep.
pharmacist, and I go pick that joint up. I ain't even have to leave the crib. So it's interesting. It's a way of life, and I think it is not slowing down anytime soon, especially when you got
No.
these big sites creating these fantasy football AI assistant tools, whether it's to help you draft, help you make lineup decisions. This is not changing, Jay Rich. It's not going anywhere.
No, and that's the reality, right? It's making sure that you understand what's happening. And like even for me, like my girlfriend's was in university for like the past 4 or 5 years, and she used ChatGPT for everything, right? Like everything. And so if people are doing this at younger ages too, like it's only going to get worse and worse and take over more and more. And it's really just companies taking advantage of what they can do with AI versus before. Like AI has always been around, just now it's getting better and better and better to the point where it's almost impossible to ignore that you need to use it. And I believe even when ChatGPT first launched and everyone was like raving about it, the number one job that was emerging at that time were prompters.
We're prompters.
And they will only continue to be one of the most emerging jobs, because if you're great at that, you're going to have a job in the future, because that's always going to be in demand.
Listen, Tim put it on the chat. He said AI is already destroying our schools. Kids don't know how to read anymore, absorb it. At our
Yep.
house, my wife reads a shit ton, dude. I mean, my wife, she is an avid reader, and my oldest son loves it. I bought him like Dragon Ball Z chapter books. He loves it, and I'm like, keep that. As good as you are at these sports, like read. So we're trying to make sure that we incorporate that just at home, family reading time, right? Kindle, whether it's physical book, digital book. And then this comment right here from Fredo, and then we'll kind of tie a bow on this topic. I just want to bring it up with you. Said it's so sad that all this technological advancement was supposed to ease our workloads and make everything cheaper, but instead it's made everything more expensive and cost us jobs. I think it's a different topic for a different day, but again, it's not going anywhere. It's only getting like more advanced, where they're putting out videos of people and you could barely tell if is that really him saying that or not. Listen, by the time it's like fully implemented, I probably ain't gonna be around. But by the time it's flying cars and shit like that, I ain't gonna have to. We probably ain't gonna be here to deal with it. But it is, it's an interesting advancement in our society today. All right, Jay. Enough with the AI talk. Anything else you want to say about that?
No, we're good.
All right. I really hate that it is costing dope, talented people in the space opportunity. That's why we just kind of pride ourselves on making our own and creating our own. And we appreciate all the support from you all here to allow us to do this and have the viewership and continue to grow. So thank y'all. Thank y'all. NFL mini camp is underway, Jay Rich, and there were some big signings. We had a lot of stuff happen over the past couple of days with us, with us not being on the show on Monday. So let's start with a player that we really love, and we've talked about being the second best rookie running back in this class behind Ashton Genty. He has a new backfield running mate, and there are some people a little concerned about this situation in Denver now that J.K. Dobbins has signed a 1-year, $5.25 million deal with Sean Payton and the Denver Broncos. Jay, talk about J.K. Dobbins to Denver. Just let's focus on why'd they make this move? What's this mean for J.K. Dobbins? And then we'll kind of talk about R.J. Harvey in a second.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a good move for Dobbins. You look to Sean Payton's offenses, and they've always thrived with two backfields, right? So that's a main component here. It tells you that he probably wasn't very happy with what they had last year. We know that Javonte Williams got a lot of work We saw them try to use Audric Estime with little success. He talked about how he needs to get more touches, and then what happens, they go out and sign another running back. So it's interesting from Dobbins' perspective, because I don't think he signs there unless he believes there's a pretty good shot he can at least operate in a tandem, right? The contract is interesting. So it was $2.75 million, $2 million guaranteed with $2.5 million in incentives. So it is a $5.25 total contract, $2 million guaranteed, $2.5 in incentives. So I think the reason the incentives are there is because they expect him to be utilized and play quite a bit, right? I think you'd look to, would you go as far as to say maybe you can get some Mark Ingram, Alvin Kamara type of situation here? Because when Mark Ingram was starting running back for the Saints, they drafted Alvin Kamara, and Alvin Kamara was the complement, but he was still better for fantasy, right? You have your early down running back who's, later in his career, and he was still very good at the time, Ingram. Dobbins probably not as good, but I think there will be a role. You could see at the end of the year, Dobbins with 700-800 yards, maybe 20 or 30 receptions, and still have a good season from RJ Harvey. The reason people are worried is because they thought RJ Harvey had no competition and nobody to run with, and I think that has changed a little bit. Not that I'm fearful, but Dobbins will get run in this offense, and I think he'll be pretty good. The question is just, for him, is how healthy and how good can he be? Because we saw him get run into the ground very early last year in LA.
Yeah, Dobbins last year, just for those reminder, 195 carries, 905 yards, 4.6 a carry, 9 touchdowns, long of 61. I kind of like that. That shows he's got some breakaway speed. 32 receptions, 153 yards, no touchdowns on the ground, and a long of 15 last season. And when you look at the end of his season run, I mean, they were hammering him away. 17 attempts, 14, 15, 11, 6, 19, 18 attempts. This is a good signing by the Denver Broncos. Good for J.K. Dobbins to continue to get work after suffering the devastating knee injury early in his career in Baltimore. I don't think this impacts R.J. Harvey at all. At all. If anything, I'm very concerned, or you should be very concerned for, who was it? Tyler Batty, Audric Estime,
and Jaleel McLaughlin,
and Jaleel McLaughlin, who neither of those two, McLaughlin or Estime, are pass-catching running backs. I wouldn't peg Dobbins as a true, I always say there's a difference between running backs who can catch passes and those that can be deployed as pass-catching weapons. Dobbins is not a pass-catching weapon by any stretch, but he can carry them. He can catch the ball in the backfield. This spells trouble for your McLaughlin or Estime shares. Estime, 310 on the ground last year, 5 receptions, and Jaleel McLaughlin just was not a very good receiving back. And a lot of people peg and miscast him as that. You need 2 running backs in the NFL. You hear the New England Patriots talking about Ramondre Stevenson and Travion Henderson and how much they love Hendo, but they kind of want to use him the same way he was used at Ohio State. Maximize his efficiency. Make sure he's explosive. Make sure you don't wear your young Ferrari down. I think the same thing is happening in Denver. And what Sean Payton saw last year is, even with RJ Harvey, Estime and McLaughlin and Batty are not good enough to be the complementary backs in this offense. We've got to find some juices, some explosiveness, and better talent elsewhere. And I believe that's what the J.K. Dobbins signal and signing was. So if I get any discount on RJ Harvey now, sign me up, dude.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's where, it's crazy to think that Dobbins had 900 yards and he missed 5 games last season. Like, he was a 1,000-yard rusher, basically, and they got him almost for free to complement what they drafted in RJ Harvey. Like, it just bodes well for this offense, honestly, because this is a team that isn't super exciting from the pass catcher perspective, right? Like, Bo Nix got it done, and I believe he threw, 28, 29 touchdowns last season. With the complement of weapons he has, they didn't really add a lot outside of Pat Bryant, but now you have a true, dynamic tandem in the running game. And I think that's where now you see this team, and we've seen this plenty of times with Saints teams when Peyton was there. There wasn't a lot of receiving options. It was Marcus Colston and a couple of guys, right? Or it was Michael Thomas and a couple of guys. And every year it's, the Saints got to draft another wide receiver. They got to draft another wide receiver. But it was always they had a strong running game. And that foundation is what led to their offensive success. And I think Sean Payton's trying to replicate that here in Denver. And I think it's going to work. Harvey's a good running back who's explosive, can make plays. And even Dobbins, last year he caught 32 passes, right? Out of Ohio State.
He did.
That's a guy who... We saw him as a guy out of Ohio State who catch passes. Never really happened in Baltimore, mainly because of Lamar Jackson to some extent.
Yeah.
But now he's playing in an offense that maybe they utilize that. And Ray,
maybe about it. I mean, Javonte Williams was top 5 in like receiving numbers for running backs last year. Javonte Williams.
And he was 3rd in the pecking order on the offense last year. Crazy.
Come on. Yeah.
Crazy.
Let's talk about another running back. The Chubb. Nick Chubb, one of the best running backs that we've seen in our time come through. Little, career derailed by injuries, devastating knee injuries for Nick Chubb, but he has found a home. JRich, the Houston Texans. Ow. The Houston Texans, 1-year deal, 2.5, can reach up to $5 million with incentives. This is low cost, right? It's for a running back. It's no cost for Nick Chubb. So Nick Chubb, the legendary Cleveland Browns rusher, incredible running back out of the University of Georgia, now taking his talents to Houston, Jay. And he was already on the field in Houston, already on the damn field yesterday in Houston, taking carries, catching the ball, working with CJ Stroud, working with those running backs. Chubb looking big. Chubb is a big running back. But let's talk about this. This signing for Nick Chubb, Joe Mixon, Woody Marks. What are we doing?
I mean, I think it's a little concerning from Mixon's perspective, right? Because Mixon has been a little bit banged up and coming back from injury. And so they're signing a player who I guess is Mixon insurance should he not be healthy. But I mean, Ray, is it fair to have concerns about Chubb as well? Chubb was coming off a major injury the previous season coming into last year, didn't play till week 7, and then broke his foot in week 15, I believe, is when he actually broke his foot.
Dude, I completely forgot he broke his damn foot. When I was reading that, I was like, he broke his foot at the end of last season? When did that happen?
Right? So that's the scary part is like, okay, this is a dude who's had a lot of injuries. He had injuries in college. He's had injuries in the NFL, multiple ones. The broken foot isn't a big deal because it will be healed by the time he's ready. And so the question is do you believe that he can be the running back he was at the end of the season versus the beginning of the season? Because, Ray, last year he averaged 3.3 yards a carry. His high in terms of carries was 20. His high in yardage was 59. Which, this is a dude who does not catch passes. He almost never does. And so it's a low-cost situation, but the problem with Nick Chubb is people love Nick Chubb. They want him to be the great running back we've seen him be. And the question is, are we going to buy into him operating with Joe Mixon and maybe taking work away from Woody Marks, which I don't think is going to happen. So, like, Mixon's the guy. Chubb, I think, is his backup should anything happen. But do you believe there's any world where Chubb can actually make a meaningful impact, let's say 100 carries for this Texans team?
Sure. I think he can get 100 carries. Do I think it's going to look like the Nick Chubb that we were drafting in 2019, 2020, 2021? Yeah. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. And for that low of a deal, I mean, it feels
basically
like anybody could have signed him, right? Cleveland said, no thanks, we'll draft 2 running backs in the draft and roll with Jerome Ford. 31 other teams had an opportunity to pick him up, and then Houston gives him like $2.5 million. There's probably all
Chicago
guaranteed.
was another rumored team, right?
Yeah,
like Chicago was linked to Dobbins. Team. They were linked to Chubb, and no one got him.
I think there's more name to this signing than game, and that's not to disparage Nick Chubb. The running back position, you get guys off the couch, man, that could come in the right environment, the blocking's right, they get you 70, 80, 90 yards on a week. Do I think Nick Chubb is going to be a mainstay at the position where you feel good starting him each and every week? Hell to the no. Absolutely not. Do I think it impacts Woody Marks? Maybe a little bit.
I don't think it does at all.
Maybe a little, maybe a tad bit from some. Here's the thing that I do believe. As much as I think Woody Marks can be deployed as a pass-catching weapon, I'm not buying him being on the field on third down situations to pass pro for CJ Stroud. I'm not buying that. I'm not buying that he's ready to do that out of the gate as a rookie, maybe down the line. But right away, I do think there'll be a role for Chubb and Mixon on the field. But let's cut all the fucking hopium, right? And the brass tacks is neither of these two players are ultra explosive at this point in time. Neither of these two players are what we would deem pass catching weapons. I think they're physical grinder running backs, but I do believe that Marks is still different. Like he's probably not even looked at the same as those two running backs. Like you're the pass catching specialist. These are our two hammers. And we saw how slow and bogged down this offense was with last year with Mixon running the ball so much. There's rumors he's in a walking boot. I saw a picture of him yesterday.
Yeah.
He wasn't in a walking boot. I don't know what's going on with Joe Mixon and his health, but maybe the ankles aren't all the way there. But Chubb's knees are probably not all the way there either.
Well, that's the problem, right? Like, again, I only point out the yards per carry because he did get a little bit stronger to end the season. And Alan said it in the chat. He's like, the Texans' O-line isn't that good, is it? And that's the biggest problem. And Ray, you can speak to this as well. Like, the issue with the Texans isn't just that the O-line is bad. They're still trying to rebuild it. They're
it's a new OC.
Well, it's a new OC as well, but their interior offensive line could potentially be completely new once again, and they already are replacing tackles and trying to figure that out. So, like, it's a very uncertain offensive line, and for a player that does so much damage up the middle, like, you're not going to stretch out Nick Chubb probably very often, right? Same with Joe Mixon. Like, you kind of got to keep them more in the interior. And when that's not the strength of your offense, you're almost in a bad situation from that perspective if you're Chubb because, okay, cool, you got this money and you're on a team and that's great, but like you're also in a tough situation. So it's not just whether or not he's healthy and can come back and can play at the level that we've seen him play in the past. It's that he also has a bit of an uphill battle from a situation perspective, depending on how that all plays out in Houston throughout the offseason. But yeah, we don't project them to have a good offensive line. And we'll see what they do in the running game. But I think Woody Marks is fine, personally. Whatever they planned for him before, I think it's still the same role
it's still the plan
that he's going to have going into the season as well.
I agree with that. All right. I promise you, AI did not record this or tweet this out. Yahoo Fantasy, JRich, they got old Aaron Rodgers on the screen. He is in Pittsburgh. Rodgers signed a 1-year. We were talking about this deal on Friday's Wake Up Show. There were no numbers reported. We were like, oh, man. He's getting 20, 30, $40 million. They're going to pay him out the wazoo. What did old Rodgers get? 41-year-old Rodgers? What did he get? $13.5 million guaranteed? Was that the contract? 13, 14 million for Aaron Rodgers?
Yeah, 13 million. I believe 13.5 up to 19.5 guaranteed for Aaron Rodgers in that 1-year deal. Now the question is is he still being paid by the Jets? And that's what I meant to look up before the show. I don't know if he is still. But, I mean, there's some incentives, playoff berth, $500K, wild card. Wow, Ray, Super Bowl, league MVP, $1.5 million incentive. I don't think Rodgers is hitting that. But, yeah, $14 million cap hit, $10 million dead cap. He'll be on the team. He'll be the quarterback for this season. It is what it is, right? We expected this. We've been waiting for it. It finally happened. We found out Aaron Rodgers got married. Maybe that's why he hadn't signed yet, taking some time off, which is interesting. But the question is, like, what does this mean for this team? We've talked incessantly about DK Metcalf because he's the only guy there. And I've kind of been outspoken saying I'm not so sure if it is the best fit for Aaron Rodgers and the way that DK plays and wins and all that kind of stuff. But how do you feel about this signing for Pittsburgh? And do you think that there's any world where this is good for this team? He's there, he's at practice, and what are they going to do?
Listen, I see a couple of comments in the chat. I'm not going to read these comments. I'm just going to surmise them because I 100% agree. I don't know what it is, Jay. I don't know what the hell it is. But seeing Aaron Rodgers in this Steelers jersey, his number 8, something about this just feels better than New York. I can't put my finger on it, Jay.
Okay.
It feels better than New York. I'm not saying he's winning no damn league MVP. I'm not saying he's going to revert to Aaron Rodgers of the Green Bay era. It's funny, I actually watched the Green Bay Pittsburgh Super Bowl the other day. It was on replay. I was rewatching that, and I mean, surgical. I mean, Aaron Rodgers.
That's a different Aaron Rodgers.
It's absolutely surgical. Jennings, you got James Jones, Jordy Nelson, James Starks was a rookie at running back. Just surgical, JRich. But just watching him here, watching him throw the ball around, I feel better about this than Mason freaking Rudolph. I feel better about it than Kenny Pickett. I feel better about it than Russell Wilson or Justin Fields. I can't quite put my finger on what it is. I hate his helmet. I don't like the helmet that he wears. It's tall and it's big. But Aaron Rodgers is probably going to be better in Pittsburgh than he was in New York. And I am mildly, I'm cautiously optimistic about DK Metcalf, about the weapons in Pittsburgh. I am. But
really? Like, what do you expect from this team?
I don't know. I don't
because like there's
I
no
can't
one there.
articulate it. It looks
There's
better.
nobody there. Yeah.
It looks,
Like,
it feels better than anything Pittsburgh's had probably since Roethlisberger.
oh, for sure. For sure. I mean, he's a league MVP, right? Like we saw him on the Jets last season. He was pretty good. Like he actually was. But I mean, it's DK Metcalf. It's whatever the hell we get from Robert Woods this year. It's Calvin Austin. It's Ben Skoranek. It's Roman Wilson, who didn't play, I don't think, at all last year. And then Scotty Miller, right? Did you know Scotty Miller was on Pittsburgh? I didn't. Just found that out right now.
I did. I did.
With
neither
that,
did you.
we also have an Arthur Smith offense, which not great.
I get it.
They're going to run the hell out of the ball. Rodgers is great in play action, though. And Arthur Smith offense.
Are they going to run the hell out of the ball?
I think so. They have three pretty talented running backs, right? They got Caleb Johnson, they got Jalen Warren, and they signed Kenneth Gainwell. So however they want to utilize those guys, I don't know. But they're three running backs that can make a difference in the NFL for a team. And I'm just interested to see how it all plays out. But again, I still don't know what DK Metcalf's ceiling is. And that's the hardest part is like, you look at how Pickens was used last year. It wasn't great. And does DK Metcalf profile much differently than George Pickens? Not really. Maybe a little bit, but not really in my opinion. So that's my concern is what does Rodgers do for DK? Or does he just feed the slot guys, the guys that can get open with ease, that are on time, like all that kind of stuff, versus like hyper targeting like DK, which I think people are kind of expecting.
Daniel Perry, Aaron Rodgers, or JRich or Daniel Jones?
I mean, you got to take Aaron Rodgers.
I'm asking you, man.
I will take Aaron Rodgers.
I'm asking you.
JRich doesn't even belong in this conversation because he is not going to play quarterback for the Colts this year.
Yeah, probably.
And we got
probably
still
not.
no updates on him, right? Steichen said there's no updates and that he went to go to LA, I believe, to go see the doctor that did his AC joint repair before, right? To get a second opinion on his recovery for that. So even, again, not that we were expecting positive news from JRich, but we are not getting anything really as to what's going on other than that he's going to get a second opinion.
All right, Jay, what are your thoughts on the situation brewing and it seems like certain franchises are always up to the same shenanigans, especially when it comes to paying players. But this is a fascinating one, and I don't know where Shamar Stewart is as far as first-round rookies who are unsigned. But Shamar Stewart, the Cincinnati Bengals first-round pick, 17th overall, the athleticism best compared to Myles Garrett during the combine. Production, not Myles Garrett-esque. Texas A&M defensive end, now Cincinnati Bengal, I guess. He is unhappy with the organization in Cincinnati. He is at the OTA minicamp practices, not practicing. He's on the sideline waiting to sign his rookie deal. Apparently, there is a default clause in this contract that the Bengals want to include, which can void future guaranteed money. And Shamar Stewart is like, hell no. You're not putting that in my deal. You're not sliding that in here. I want my contract, just like every other first-round pick rookie inside of this range. He was outspoken. He said the Bengals, he feels that he is 100% right. He's 100% justified. And he also spoke on another man's money, which you just kind of don't do. You don't talk about people's pockets. You don't do that. But he said Trey Hendrickson, right? 17 and a half sacks, back-to-back seasons. Why have Cincinnati not paid him? Me and Trey should be getting paid right now. What are your thoughts on this situation with the Bengals, who seem to be quite cheap when it comes to paying their players? Who's right? Shamar Stewart? Who looks bad? Cincy or Stewart? Let's talk about this situation from Cincy's standpoint, man.
I mean, Cincy's cheap. We know this. Like, they've been cheap. They cut Jermaine Pratt because they didn't want to pay him. They messed around with Jamar Chase. It took them up until the regular season to sign Joe Burrow. Like, this is just what happens with them. And again, this contract clause is interesting. And for people who, follow the NFL and especially rookie contracts, like, it's not like they're arguing over numbers. They never are. It's the Bengals and the Chargers every year. It's something's going on with the contracts and they're trying to get a clause in there, like here or there. And the agents are like, what are you doing? There's no reason to do this. Every contract is the same amount of money. Like, just keep it simple. And honestly, Ray, at some point, I think the NFL needs to step in here. Like, I genuinely do. There's no reason why the language for a rookie contract can't just be the same for every single rookie? Like, why does it need to be?
I'm asking, so I'm just asking, rookie first round deals aren't fully guaranteed, correct?
No, that
Like,
I believe they are fully guaranteed.
all of them?
Well, again, they vary, but salaries, like the actual contract numbers themselves, are set by the NFL. Like, so before, right, used to negotiate the rookie contracts. That was back when Sam Bradford was getting $80 million guaranteed,
yes,
and Cam Newton got 40 the following season, right?
There's a set scale.
So they're not arguing over numbers, but they're arguing over language in the contract. And so it's like, why can't, if numbers are already set, which is, the large majority of the issues, why can't we also just set the language for rookie deals so they can get to camp? Like, how is it fair to Shamar Stewart that this single team is trying to get a clause in the contract that isn't in other first round picks deals?
I mean, Mr. London just
said
even the PA stepped in and told the agent not to take the deal.
Yeah. Right? Because it's a bullshit deal, and it's unfair to him, right? Why are you drafting a player in the first round if you're trying to sneak in clauses and get one over on the agent? And the funny thing about this, Ray, and I was listening to Peter Schrager talk about this on McAfee's show, was a clip from him talking about it. Shamar Stewart has the same agent as James Cook, which is kind of funny because of the things that have going on with James Cook and his contract situation.
You stole the segue into the next segment, but go ahead. I didn't know they had the same damn agent.
But yeah, apparently have the same agent. He's apparently Schrager was saying it's this young kid, 30 years old, kind of like beats at his own drum was the words that he used to describe him. So it's just funny the way this all works out. But yeah, it just sounds like a bullshit deal. And it just, again, I understand what the Bengals are trying to do. They're trying to, protect.
Well, they want a
future
default clause. They want a clause in there that if something happens, we will not guarantee you the rest of your deal. And Stewart's like, no.
And at that point, why are you even drafting first rounders? Why? Because it doesn't make any sense. If these are the lengths that you need to go to protect your franchise financially, why are you an NFL owner? Like honest to God, it makes no sense. And
it's fun because my thing is, if you're Cincinnati, you have the damn offense, right? Like you've got Burrow and Chase and Higgins in their absolute prime. This is not the time to be cheap. They're just a few years removed from a Super Bowl appearance with a second-year quarterback. That was Burrow's second season in the NFL when he led them to a Super Bowl, and now you want to F around and find out with edge rushers? With a defense that's already putrid?
The defense was almost dead last in the league last year. One of the worst we've ever seen in some respects because of how good their offense was and what they had to overcome to win games. And again, not signing Trey Hendrickson, okay, that's fine. But you're holding him hostage too because he's on another team.
Okay, you don't want to pay Trey, that's cool. Draft a player. Oh, we did.
Draft a player to replace him, yeah.
We drafted him in the first round. Pay the player. We don't want to do that.
He hasn't been to rookie camp. He hasn't been to OTAs. He hasn't done anything.
He's standing there, and I'm telling you, like that takes value. Like that time lost is valuable. We just heard Ben Johnson.
Absolutely valuable.
I'm gonna pull up the quote after the break. Ben Johnson talking about Luther Burden. We'll get into that, but this is valuable time lost for Shamar Stewart. So this is get your stuff together, Cincinnati. Get your stuff together. Okay, we're gonna go to break. We're gonna buy or sell some of the hype that we're hearing from some of these mini camps, talk through the James Cook situation, which I told y'all last week. I am not fading James Cook. He will be there come week 1. Hit the thumbs up button, like the stream, support the channel, all the dope content on here. We'll be right back after the break. Welcome in, everybody, for another stream over here on Bleacher Report, NFL Daily. You can find JRich and I every single week here on this app.
The moment I say it, they'll say, oh, yuck. And it's got to be Najee Harris, right? It's
that world is in an alternate timeline somewhere in the multiverse. It ain't here on Earth 616 or whatever. It ain't here. JRich and I are on every single Thursday, 7 p.m. Let's go. This is Wake Up with Ray and Jay every Monday, Wednesday, Friday here on the channel. You can also catch us Thursday, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Bleacher Report. We do a stream NFL Daily every single Thursday, 7 p.m. Pull up. We have a lot of fun conversations over there on BR. And then check out all of the fantasy football content on DDFFB. That's DD Fantasy Football. A lot of dope stuff going up. We've got members exclusive content where you get early access to shows like the Dynasty Deal Show and my Destination Chill Show with Scott Connor. You can join over there on that channel. Do not ask Jimbo how to do it. It might take you 2.5 weeks to get in, but we appreciate the support. We appreciate the love. Hit the thumbs up button. Like this stream. You talked about it before we went on break, JRich. I told y'all last week, I'm not panicked. I'm not worried at all because you really have no option at running back but to play. And James Cook will be playing for the Buffalo Bills this fall. He was there. He was there at their mini camp, and James Cook said he plans to participate at training camp this summer in order to compete for a Super Bowl and have a winning season. I have to be out there with my teammates. James Cook back on the field for the Buffalo Bills. RB14 in underdog. How we feeling about old James Cook now? JRich, now that it looks like he is going to play this season.
I mean, did he really have a choice?
He didn't have a choice.
Because the fines would far exceed what he would be paid as a free agent, right? Like and we'll get to the next player on the list, but it's funny how depending on the position you play determines whether or not you can actually hold out or not. And running backs, they can't hold out because they don't get paid and they don't make enough money to get fined $5 million or whatever. And look even last season with Hassan Reddick. What did he rack up? Like $10 million in fines for not being available last year. And now you're in a situation where, okay, he's back. Hopefully he's practicing and hopefully he's motivated and all of that, because that's the biggest question mark is he maybe not going full out? Is he trying to preserve himself because of injury? Is there concerns about whether or not the contract is an issue for him potentially and what he does throughout the offseason? It sounds like no, and I hope not. But the funny thing about James Cook is he's probably still overpriced either way because he's probably not scoring as many touchdowns as he scored last season.
What do you have, 17? What do you have, 17 last year?
It might have been like almost 20 total. For Cook. It was
I thought it was like 17. He had 20 damn touchdowns.
It was close. It might have been like 19 because he had a couple receiving touchdowns as well.
Okay.
So it was 16 rushing and so it's 18 total touchdowns.
18 total?
On 1,000 yards and only 207 carries. He actually had less carries last year than he had the year before.
If this was Price is Right, I would have won because you went over the number and I was under it. So we were both pretty close.
That is true. But it's hard for a guy who, again, 2 touchdowns on 89 carries rookie season. Sophomore season, 237 carries. Guess what, Ray? Another 2 touchdowns. And then 207 carries, 16 touchdowns for James Cook. So I get it. He wants to be paid, but it's going to be tough. And Buffalo probably doesn't need to pay him, unfortunately. They probably don't need to. But we'll see what they do.
Here's the thing. Cook is, I see a lot on buying Ray Davis. I'm buying Ray Davis. I get it. I like Ray Davis too. James Cook's a better running back than Ray Davis. Right? He's a better running back than Ray Davis. I'm not worried. Like, it's a running back position. They'll probably run him into the damn ground. You know, they'll probably just run him into the ground. You don't want to be here. I saw Joe Marino. Shout out to my dog, Joe Marino, who does stuff with the Bills. Does the Locked On Bills podcast. He said that there was a rumor that Cook just doesn't like Buffalo. Like, he just prefers not to live in Buffalo. Doesn't like Buffalo. Like, that's not where he wants to live, right? I don't want to live in fucking Buffalo, Jay. No offense, but I don't want to live in Buffalo. I don't want to live in Seattle. I don't want to live in Florida. I like Texas, right? There's certain places that I just would prefer to live and work. And if that's James Cook's preference, I guess he'll finish out his time in Buffalo, and then we'll see where his next stop will lead him. But ultimately, the window for running backs is so short, man. Like, he can't hold out. So, as you said,
where you want to play, right? It's not the NBA.
There was no other option. What about this player? Does this player have an option? He was an All-Pro last year, second team All-Pro wide receiver Terry McLaurin, and we have not really talked about this. But he was not at OTAs, I believe. I don't know what's happening with minicamp, but this was last week. Yeah, Terry McLaurin a little frustrated with lack of progress on a long-term contract extension. He's in the final year of his deal, and recently he showed up for voluntary workouts and then left. So apparently showed up under the guise that maybe something would get done. Nothing got done. He said, "Cool, I'm out. I'm not gonna participate in this voluntary stuff if I don't have a deal in place." They've got a young ascending second-year star at quarterback. They've upgraded the offensive line with Josh Connerly and Laramie Tunsil. They didn't really draft a receiver. They took Jalen Lane, I think, in round 3 or 4 of the NFL draft,
Yeah.
and they traded for Deebo Samuel. Terry McLaurin is a big part of this offense. Terry McLaurin is going to help Jaden Daniels take another step forward. Are the Commanders going to pay? Is McLaurin, 30 now? How
30.
old is Terry
30.
In his best season, he's had 1,100 yards?
So he's kind of like Garrett Wilson, right? So
Kinda like
the thing we talk about with Garrett Wilson, 1,100 yards, but he did have 13 touchdowns last season with Jaden Daniels, which is big, right? Because as much as we can talk about Cook's regression, it's because he was highly efficient in the red zone and scored a lot of touchdowns. But in the case of McLaurin, the volume was still there, and Jaden Daniels is obviously still going to be throwing him the football a lot when he's on the field. And I get it from Terry's perspective, right? Like, he's trying to see an extension. This is the last big payday he's ever going to have because he ain't getting another one. Right?
Well,
So
this is the last one. This would be his second deal?
This is third. His third deal.
His third deal.
Because he's in the camp with a lot of those guys. DK Metcalf was another one, right? Where they signed those weird. It was like the time when everyone was signing 3-year extensions, rookie extensions, right? Devonta Smith signed one. Jalen Waddle signed one. DK Metcalf signed one. I don't think AJ Brown ended up signing one because he got traded.
Did Amon-Ra sound like a 3-year deal?
He might have. AJ Brown might have actually signed an extension with the Eagles because he got another extension. Sorry. And so now we're in a situation where he wants to be paid. And if I'm McLaurin, $30 million, easy. Everyone's getting $30 million. Whether you're a wide receiver 2 or and then wide receiver 1s obviously get paid much more than that. They get paid $40 million. But you look at what Waddle's making, Smitty's making, all these guys, they're not better than Terry McLaurin. And it's just for Washington, they have the cap space to pay him. That's the worst part. They have the cap space to pay a guy like this. They're paying Deebo $20 million this year because he's still under contract from his one with San Francisco. So if I am the Commanders, I'm paying McLaurin. The problem is, Ray, is how long are you willing to pay for his services? Because he probably wants a 4-year deal or a 5-year deal, and he's 30. Right?
Give him
no NFL team is guaranteeing him that much.
Give him a 4-year deal, guarantee pretty much the first 2, and give yourself an out the back 2.
And I would if you're him, would you accept that? Would you accept?
Probably not.
If 4 for 120, like Brandon Ayuk's deal.
If you front load the guaranteed money and give him $70 million or whatever it is up front, he probably would. It's probably the guaranteed money that the issue is. The problem is the guarantees. Yeah. What did T get guaranteed? What was Higgins guaranteed?
T's so overpaid, dude. Are you joking?
I get that, but what was T's guaranteed money?
1 second. He is guaranteed $40 million.
I'm sure McLaurin wants something in that range, guaranteed money.
He's guaranteed $40 million.
And I would try to front load it. Just if you can pay him for these next 2 years and get all that out of the way, and then give yourself.
The Bengals can get out of this contract.
That's what I'm saying.
Soon.
That's what I'm saying.
Really
That's
soon.
what I would do with Terry.
Problem is he's 26 though.
Huh?
He's 26. Right? This is the problem is when you look at McLaurin, he's 30, but he's in the same space as dudes that are getting paid at 26, 27. And that's the biggest problem, right? So what's his market
Pete said he can get
now?
one or the other. Pete said he can get $30 million a year or he can get 4 years. He can't get both at 30. You can't give a 30-year-old receiver that. What happens to Jaden? Do you think McLaurin's playing for Washington this year? I think the answer is yes.
Yes, I think he'll play for Washington this year.
Absolutely. Sure. Right? So they're going to figure something out. He's going to be there in Washington. Would you buy McLaurin now with the uncertainty that he's going to be there? Would you buy the dip on Terry McLaurin if there is a dip? Would you buy it?
I think I would, yeah. I mean, Spotrac has his market value at 3 years, $93 million. And let's say $50 million of that is guaranteed, a year and a half guaranteed. But I don't know if he's taking that, though.
It's a lot of guaranteed money for Terry McLaurin. It's a lot of guaranteed money for McLaurin.
It is.
A lot.
Yeah.
But when you got a young quarterback, you got to kind of do whatever it takes, right? To make sure that he's there, to make sure that he's happy, whatever the case may be. Okay?
Yeah, and the bad part for him is that they're not going to cut him, but they would save $9 million if they did.
They're not going to cut him. Yeah, they're not going to cut him. I hear you. All right, Jay, buying or selling is hype. People are excited. You know, we love showing pictures of that, those bodies, right? Those muscles, those muscles. And there was no better muscular picture. He was definitely hitting the tricep machine than year 2 Maserati Marv. And don't y'all dare call him any other type of name. Be nice here on Wednesday. Year 1 versus year 2. Arizona posted this out. The people went crazy. Oh my God. Look at those triceps. Look at those forearms, right? JRich, are you buying anything about this picture that Marv has put in the work to be a better receiver in 2025 and 2024 based off of this picture? People are excited.
I do believe that Marv put in the work. But guess what, Ray?
Okay.
I also believe in trick photography.
Oh, God.
And
AI
they got
photography.
AI not AI photography. Not AI photography.
Trick photography.
But, you know, he's doing a little bit more flexing this year, huh? Maybe he hit the tricep machine before he took the picture this time, right?
That's what it looks like to me.
Maybe he rotated his arms a little bit so that you see a little bit more.
You're not buying it.
You're
not buying it.
Yeah,
you're not buying it.
It's not going to impact his play on the field. He was already a physical receiver. I don't think him adding weight will make him much better. Like, again, we'll see. But Ray, we do have some breaking news.
Breaking news?
And you may have seen it in the chat. It's not good.
I've not seen it.
Per James St. Cyr on Twitter.
James
JST Cyr. Yeah.
How do you, is it S-A-I-N-T?
No, Jamal St. Cyr. Jamal St. Cyr.
How do you
on Jamal? Twitter. JSTCYRTV.
Wait,
Brian
what?
Thomas.
Wait, hold on.
Are you going to listen or are you going to search?
I can't. I'm trying to pull the tweet up and you got me nervous, man. I don't know what's going on. Go ahead.
Just go to your messages and I will send it to you. Oh my God. Per Jamal St. Cyr, Brian Thomas down on the ground holding his shoulder, getting checked out by trainers.
Okay.
At least it's upper body. That's good.
Okay, I've
upper
got
body
it.
is
I've got
good.
Here it is right here. Jamal St. Cyr. Brian Thomas down on the ground holding his shoulder. Not good. Wait, there's a newer version of this post, JRich. Hold on.
Okay.
Brian Thomas down on the ground getting checked by trainers.
Oh, maybe it's not a shoulder.
And then underneath it, 11 on 11, Trevor Lawrence sack, line collapsed.
Classic.
Two bad tweets in a row. Listen, let's just hope that there's nothing serious here. We cannot afford any Brian Thomas Jr. injury. I don't care if that it's June and he can be healthy. We don't want that. So let's hope that he's okay. Okay? Yep. Walked off with the trainer. Alex has already said it's De'Ami Brown season. Sell that BTJ. Hurt in June. Get rid of him. All right, Jay. Let's move on to the next buying or selling of the hype. And this one is the hype is palpable right now. JRich. One Derek Brown. Real excited about this player. We're not going to use D-Bro's tweet because I don't think he's the one that took the video, but I'll pull it up real quick. This is from Cody Schutz down in Houston, JRich. But are you buying or selling the hype for a first-year wide receiver who I continue to see good stuff about? Jaden Higgins. Look at this catch. This is apparently the play of the day against a freaking all-pro cornerback. You got Lassiter over there. This is a Pro Bowl caliber corner. You got Stroud dropping back foot, three-step drop, fade. Yam! One-handed grab by Jaden Higgins. This is your nemesis. JRich, you are not a big Jaden Higgins fan. You aren't big fan of Higgins. But talk about his three-step drop. Shoulder looks good from Stroud. Bucket, boom, catch. You buying this? Yeah. You buying Higgins being a big outside playmaker with Nico Collins for C.J. Stroud to start the 25 season?
It's a fine clip. It's a great highlight. It was a phenomenal throw. Again, Ray, my biggest issue with Higgins that he doesn't play big, but he is enormous. And so it's like, okay, cool. Like, you made a good play. You used your hands. You have massive hands. Like, I've literally seen this guy in person. He's huge. He just doesn't play big. And so it's like, yeah, he's a good receiver. He's showing out. He was drafted 33rd overall, if I recall correctly, or somewhere around
fully guaranteed deal.
Yeah, he's probably got $1 million on his contract because he wasn't a first rounder, but good for him. I like the camp hype. You know, I'm not as sold on Higgins, but how do you feel about Higgins? Like, does this move you at all?
I think there's a world where he's out there.
That Noel is the better player.
I like Jalen Noel. My issue is Nico can play in and out. Nico's not just this big receiver they just park on the outside. He can play in and out, right? I feel like Higgins, his role and the way that he's going to be deployed is in one way. Like they're probably going to have him do just what he did there. Stretching the field, using his size, hitch routes, out routes, go routes, those hog routes. I think there is a world where Higgins is out there with Christian Kirk and Nico Collins in 3 wide receiver sets. And I would probably project him out there before Noel, even though I had Jalen Noel rated a little higher than Jaden Higgins during the pre-draft process.
For sure. Yeah, for sure. That's the reality of this situation. Higgins was drafted higher. He profiles as a player that could get those opportunities. And
I still love Noel. I still love Noel.
This is what we're getting at. And I believe this report came out either during OTAs or around that time. There's no guarantee that Christian Kirk is going to be the starter in the slot. Like, that's the role that Noel will have to take. He will have to probably take Christian Kirk's role. He's not going to be taking Jaden Higgins' role unless he's really, really good. But with the draft capital that he got, I just don't think that's going to happen.
See, Dio's with me. He said that single play got me in. He said I'm easy like that. That one play, good to go. That's all I needed to see. The ball tracking skills, the hands, the size against Lassiter. I'm good.
Yeah.
Let's go to Baker. Baker was talking about a receiver, JRich. Did you hear Baker Mayfield? You hear Baker?
I didn't hear Baker.
Did you hear Baker talking about Egbuka? Let's listen to him.
Yeah, obviously the physical tools, at this level, you got to have talent. Obviously, he has that being a first-round draft pick. The thing that sticks out is how cerebral he is. He's so smart. Right now, I think we could plug and play him in any receiver spot. He understands.
He said he's so smart, cerebral. Right now, we can plug and play Emeka Egbuka at any receiver spot. Let's continue, Baker.
The offense that well, and that's just him being a pro already. And he's not a rookie. He doesn't act like it at least. So it's been really good to see him take that ownership. He takes it extremely serious, but he's in constant communication. He always wants to be in the right spot at the right time. He's much like J-Mac of the understanding of zone coverage, and Chris as well, of understanding when to be open, the voids in the zone defense, and how to be friendly to the quarterback. So.
Much like J-Mac, Jalen McMillan, and Chris Godwin, with his ability to identify zone coverage and find the open spaces, this is what Egbuka was coming out of college. He's an incredible zone-beating slot player. Baker Mayfield is talking about those same attributes and what has stood out to him early so far throughout the offseason program. And there's optimism around Chris Godwin potentially being ready for week 1, but there is a chance that he's not, and he starts off slow or on the physically unable to perform list. Are you buying or selling Baker Mayfield talking about Emeka Egbuka as this chess piece that can play any of the positions at the wide receiver spot for Tampa Bay in 25? You buying this?
Absolutely right. Of all the camp hype we've seen, I would buy this at probably number 1. I would pay premium dollar. You'd selling right now.
You'd get that 93 octane. You wouldn't get that unleaded 87 gas.
Yeah.
You'd go 93.
Full premium. The highest we can get, right? The highest we can get.
87. I'm 87. Wife's car, we got to put that 93 in. My truck, 87. We are low grade.
I am with you for my vehicle as well. Got to save that money.
Low grade.
And you got to go to Costco, right? You save yourself money over there too.
I actually saw a TikTok about that all these people go to Costco lines to save $2 and the amount of time you spent in line, like you don't value your another topic for.
I go to Costco in the mornings.
I'm just telling you
no
what has
issues.
been told to me.
In and out, just like any other day.
I'm just the messenger of truth.
Back to Emeka Egbuka.
Yes,
I have consistently said on this show that he is undervalued, and I've said it for feels like months because nobody cares that he's just a really good receiver. Like no one cares. He's not special. He's not flashy. And I've told this to you as well. It's exactly what happened with Chris Olave. Exactly what happened with Chris Olave. People were bored of Chris Olave. He didn't early declare. He's not sexy. Yeah, he's pretty fast, but he's probably a slot guy. And no one cared about him. And he was drafted in the top? I think it was top 10. I think it was 11th. Egbuka drafted 19th to Tampa Bay. Sure, it's a loaded wide receiver room, but of all the talk, Ray, about the Joker in Sean Payton's offense, it certainly sounds like the real Joker is probably going to be Emeka Egbuka. And regardless of who's available. They're going to find creative ways to utilize a supremely talented receiver they drafted in the first round. And so why aren't people buying in on the versatility that Ibuka can show, not just what he showed at Ohio State, but maybe
Who's not
he
buying
even develops
in?
further?
Who's
Everyone
not
should be
buying in?
But it feels like people haven't been as in as they should be
I
on
get what you.
Ibuka.
Well, I think
And
it's
that's
because
where I'm at.
of Godwin and Evans.
For sure.
You know,
For sure. But he's got the talent. And I think that's the problem for me, is that going into the process, people said he was a slot. And it was the same with Olave. They said, he's probably going to be a slot in the NFL.
Yes.
And he proved otherwise already.
Well,
But
Ibuka
Ibuka he
You
probably
think-
will be.
he probably will.
But
be.
it doesn't mean that he's going to be. In the same way that it doesn't mean that Jefferson was going to be a slot receiver in the NFL. In the same way Chris Olave was going to be a slot receiver in the NFL. Like, they can do both. They can play both positions.
I think for your elite outcome wide receivers, you do both.
For sure.
You do both. CeeDee Lamb plays
Have
in and
to.
out. Even a couple of years ago, remember Jamar Chase when he said, I want to improve on route running from the slot, like to
From the
take my
slot,
game
'cause he
to
didn't do
another
it.
level. I've got to be better from the slot. I think your elite guys do both. I don't think there's an issue. If you're a slot only guy, you're a slot only guy. That's fine. It's how the offense is operating through the weaponry. I too am buying Ibuka. I think this is a great fit for this team. I think he fits in very well with what Tampa Bay wants to do. And you got freaking Baker Mayfield at quarterback. So sign me the hell up. JRich, got another one. Probably the last one for today. Buying or selling this hype. And I love Coach Speak. Let's listen to Coach Speak. Let's listen to Ben Johnson talk about.
He misses a lot.
Receiver.
He misses a lot. I mean, anytime you're not.
Dear God. Okay. We're talking about Luther Burden. And that the first words out of his mouth, he misses a lot. Let's just continue here.
He misses a lot. I mean, anytime you're not out there, if you're in the training room when the rest of the guys are practicing, you're losing valuable time with your coaches, valuable reps with your teammates, the ability to build the trust that we're talking about. It's not just the coaching staff having trust in you doing the right thing over and over, but it's also your teammates. They got to be out there. They got to see you do it. They got to know that the guy right, left of them, that they're going to do the right things and they're going to make the plays when called upon. So, I think it's for everybody, and it's a shame that he got dinged up and missed all that time, because for a young player, it's really where you get the most reps and you can get better in a hurry that way. So that's really for every player on this team.
JRich. That is Ben Johnson. Look at that face he's making right there. That is Ben Johnson talking about second-round rookie wide receiver Luther Burden III, who apparently had been dinged up, missing valuable
he's dealing with
time.
a hamstring injury, I believe. It's a soft tissue injury that he's dealing with.
That's not good. What are your thoughts about Ben? First of all, I appreciate the candor. Like, I am straight. Don't bullshit me. Tell me what it is. What are your thoughts here? What are your thoughts here on Burden and the expectations? He's being drafted very high. JRich is going to come in and dominate right out the gates. I wouldn't be shocked if we get to September. You know who that third wide receiver is for Chicago? 3 wide receiver sets? Not Luther Burden.
Who did they bring in? I can't even think of the name.
Oh, I wouldn't. You think I'm being funny, man, and I'm not. I am not. I've been following the beat reporters of all these teams, and every single one of these rookies we are pumping and steaming up. Every depth chart I look at, every beat reporter I look at, there's like 3 or 4 guys ahead of Pat Bryant, ahead of Kyle Williams, ahead of Luther Burden. And I know right now the day to say the name alone, ain't no way, Ray. Ain't no Zacchaeus better than Luther Burden. You're out of your damn mind. These are rookies. This is a professional league. This ain't Missouri. This is not the MEAC conference. This is not the Sun Belt. This is the NFL. Right? You got to be out there for those very reasons Ben Johnson said. QB needs to know what the hell he's doing. Tight end needs to know they can trust you. You're going to do your job. The outside receiver needs to trust and know you're going to be where you need to be to free up stuff for him on the outside. If Burden and or any other rookie are not available, your best ability is your availability. And not being here doing valuable practice time. Like, once you get to training camp, it ain't no teach me, right?
Yeah.
It's game plan. We got to go. This is the time where you get your install. You're learning the playbook. You're getting geared up and ramped up for July and August. Because once that happens, it is prep time for the season. This is not good for Luther Burden.
No, but the funny thing is that we should have expected this already. There was already reports that he was injured. He got hurt in OTAs, and we know that he was going to miss some time, whether he was back from minicamp or otherwise. Is interesting. I think the biggest thing for me, Ray, with this whole thing is, doesn't it feel like Ben Johnson needs to kind of shut up? Like, why is he talking so much, man?
No, I'm not buying it. You and some people, you don't want him to talk anymore, right? Yeah.
No, it's not that he can't talk. It's like, dude, you're not, like, you haven't done anything. Like, you have zero accomplishments.
What's wrong with what he said?
But it's not, again, Ray, there's lots of rookie head coaches across the leagues, multiple years. Like, it feels like Ben Johnson thinks he's him. And that's very concerning.
Absolutely he does. He probably does.
He probably does. And I know that he's very smart. Like, I know that he is very smart. But it's like, look, man, you still got something to prove here. And every time he talks about a player, it's like he can't just say what needs to be said. Like, Luther Burden's already heard he's missing time. Like, yeah, he's missing time. It's important. We all understand that. He needs to be on the field. But it's like, well, you know, when you're not out there, you're missing time, valuable with the teammates. It's like, dude, like, just chill. Like, you know, we wish he was here and we're good. We'll get him up to speed. You know, you don't have to say it with such a negative connotation about everything, whether it's DJ Moore and the work ethic and this or that. It's like, bro, you've done nothing. Like, he talks like he's Bill Belichick at the podium. And he's not, right? Like, even Mike Vrabel is more timid and candor with respect to the players than Ben Johnson.
I don't think he was disrespectful at all. And it is, you're walking into a locker room full of alphas, right? These are the best of the, like, this job and these employees, there's so few of them. Like, you can go apply for a job at Apple today. You probably get a declination email pretty quickly, but you can apply for damn near any job. You can't just apply for this. So there's no time. I don't know how many, there's no time for pussyfooting and pacifying in football. There's just no time for it.
And I understand
there's
that.
There's no time
but
for it.
But there's a difference between doing it in the rooms and behind closed doors front facing.
Sometimes some shit needs to be said publicly.
Sometimes, but it feels like every time he hits the podium, some shit gets said.
It's okay to say it publicly. I don't think he said anything besides, it's unfortunate he's missed valuable time. You've got to be on the field. You're missing valuable reps. We are excited about him, but we want to see him on the field. What's wrong with that?
There's nothing wrong with that. But again, this is my impression of Ben Johnson. We've played a lot of his interviews, and we talk about the things that he says, and we watch a lot of stuff. It's weird for me to compare him to Liam Cohen. Liam Cohen's just like chill, relaxed, like he says what he needs to say. It's just different. It's just a different approach, and I don't know if I like
I get
it, is
that,
all
but
I'm saying.
every coach
I just
is
don't know if I
different.
like his approach. For sure.
But here's the thing. Here's the thing. That lax, laid back shit, what are people saying about the Miami coach now? Man, he doesn't take it serious enough, man. He just wearing his pants leg. He's just too chill with the players.
There's a difference between what you do in the room and what you do in the media. And I do believe that, right? Because you know Mike Vrabel's not taking any shit in meeting rooms. Like, that's not happening. But in front of the media, he acts a slightly different way because you have to approach the media differently. And it seems like Ben Johnson he approaches the media the same way he approaches the players. And maybe that's a good thing if you're successful. But I'm curious how it may play out if he's not. That's all.
I see both sides, okay? I can see both sides. I tend to lean on the side of...
Like, would you want your coach to be like this? Because your coach doesn't say anything. He really does. And actually, his only interview that we did see was very good. Very, very good from him. That's all I'm saying.
The question was asked. The answer was given. He didn't just come out there and say, let me just tell you about Luther Burden. Like, the question was asked about him missing time. What do you want him to say? Nope. It's okay. Like, he gave an answer. I think there's just no time to pacify and pussyfoot in football. Like, there's just no time for that. There's no time. So I'm fine with what Ben Johnson said, and I love his facial expression right there. That's just it. Like, that sums up how I feel. It kind of is what it is. All right, Jay.
Yeah.
We had a super chat jump through as we were on here from a first-time viewer of the show, I think. I think, or could new member. This is from J. Lau. J. Lau. $5 super chat. Appreciate you. New member in the house. Couldn't wait for the trade show. Just could not wait. Contender in a 12-team start 10. He gave up Bo Nix, gave up Rome Odunze. You know I don't like that. The 103, the 206, the 306, and the 312. For JJ, I'm assuming that's Justin Jefferson. And a 26 early to mid first round pick. What are your thoughts in a 12 by 10?
I think you overpaid by a lot.
Giving up Nix, Odunze, the 103, the 206, the 306, and the 312. I don't really care about the 306 and the 312. I really don't care about the 206 in a start 10. So it's Nix, Odunze, the 103 for
if it's a super flex, Ray, it's bad news.
Yeah, if it's super flex,
if it's
I would not
not
have
super
done
flex.
If it's not,
Still,
I'm fine with it. I'm fine with it.
Odunze and 103 for JJ.
Single QB, I'm good.
Okay.
Single QB, I'm good. Single QB, I'm
super
good. Super flex, I would not have done that. I would not have done that. Hopefully, Jay Laulu, this was not super flex. I would not have done it in a super flex. No, but a single QB, I'm good. Single QB, I'm good. Hit the chat. Hit the music, JRich. Hit the music. Says he got Connor too. Says his QBs are Burrow and Kyler. What is it? Is it super flex, Jay Laulu?
If it's Burrow and Kyler, then it is super flex. Giving up Nix for that, Nix is going to be good. I probably, even if you got,
he said it is
I'd be
super
probably
flex.
trading
Kyler.
Kyler.
He said it is super flex. Listen, you did what felt right for you at the time. All right? I probably would not have done that deal, right?
It's expensive.
And Jason said, trade is fine if you have extra QBs. It's JJ in a first. Jimbo said, give me the package side. Val says, never give up your first. I think it's Justin Jefferson. It's not JJ McCarthy.
Yeah, it has to be Justin Jefferson.
It has to be Jazz.
That's a hefty price to go from Odunze to Jefferson is all.
Probably. See, that's what I mean. This is where you get good dissension. You get people on both sides. But right here, JR Enterprise said, probably not for me, but not awful. Probably not for me, but not awful. Right?
Yeah.
All right. That's why the chat is good. Appreciate y'all being here. Thumbs up button.
Yes, sir.
Good show today. We'll be back on Friday. That's the show for the people. So probably a lot of AMA, mini camp review, news and notes. Become a member on DDFFB. Any content coming up, JRich, we need to tell the people about before we get out of here?
We should be on Bleacher Report tomorrow. We haven't heard from the producers yet, but we also have Mannequin Chill on DDFFB.
Hopefully we have not been replaced by AI from Bleacher Report. I really hope not. We have not heard from the producers, so stay tuned.
But yeah, Mannequin Chill tonight. I believe we got Trending Fantasy on DDFFB again tomorrow, and we'll see from there. But yeah, Friday will be a good show. For the people, it'll be fun.
For the people, by the people, we appreciate you, good people. Have a fantastic Wednesday, and make sure y'all wake y'all asses up with me and JRich Friday morning. We out. Peace.